Hello again, BBFL. I realize it's been a while. I just noticed the other day that I absolutely forgot to do a new competitive balance video. So we're going to start off with our summer classic, the what is it called? The baseball, the playoffs summer classic. I forget. Great start. So you'll see here I've cataloged all the scores, the box score of every game we've had this year. The formatting's a little weird to look at first. That's just so that I can track stats here. So if we take a look, I just listed everybody. I have to go through and finish the managers, but I have the teams next to the managers, and then I got your win-loss. So, win-loss is your win percentage, and the number of runs you had, number of hits you had, number of errors. So James, our champion, obviously, with the most wins, the most runs, the most hits, though just barely beating me there, and the most errors. Well, I'll tie with Makita for most errors since the more you play, the more errors you're gonna have. Let's see, and then I was in second, sadly, so 8 and 10 there. Ended up not being able to pull it off. So honestly, I don't follow baseball too close, so I don't really know what other stats we could track. If you have an idea, leave a comment in the below or somewhere on the BBFL page, and maybe I'll go back and go through there. So each series is cordoned off. We got the qualifier matches, the wildcard rounds, and then our ALDSs, NLDSs, and then down to the fight for the pennant, and then the Commissioner's Cup, of course. That is our baseball breakdown. I really honestly have nothing else I can talk about there because I'm not so smart on the baseball. Over here, we got the big boys. I finally finished up the competitive balance for the 2020 season of our fantasy football league. On the left, you'll see it is organized by the top finish, not by wins. So Kelsey obviously won, then Makita second, all the way down through me, Stu, and Buff. So take a look at these numbers, try and talk about, win percentage. You guys know what win percentage is, and the average margin of victory, MOV. That's going to be the average amount of points your team was either up or behind at the end of any given week. So Kelsey was winning by an average of 10.3 points in fantasy, while I was losing by an average of 24 points. So that's fun. That's a fun thing. And again, standard deviation is the idea, is how far each person is off from the, all things being equal, everybody would have the same talent and the same number of wins. So the higher we are from the standard deviation, the more unbalanced we were. So looking at the win percent analysis, our actual standard deviation was 2.29 and some change versus the idealized of 1.8. That would be, again, what we'd be looking for a normal year. If all things were equal, that's what the standard deviation would be. And the NSC was a 1.227. And if you don't remember, NSC is just another way to visualize the balance between matches. So the closer you are to 1, that would mean that a league is balanced. If it was 1.0, that means that everybody had we had a perfectly balanced league across the board. So if it's above 1, that means that there are teams that were further apart in wins than other teams. And you can see we had 2 teams break the 10-win barrier this year, and then 1, 2, 3 also hit 9 wins versus 2 4-win teams, 2 5-win teams, and a 6-win team. So there was a pretty big disparity this year when it came to talent on the teams and win percentage. So we returned an NSC of 1.2, which is just under the average of the, if you look at average out the NSC over the entire league, you'll see that over here, the league's average NSC is 1.30, and our average standard deviation is 2.43. So we're actually a little under the average this year, but we're still well above being balanced, though our average win percentage still sits at 0.49. So just like all years before, our deviation is higher than ideal, so competition was more unbalanced was unbalanced more often than it wasn't this season in the regular season. Taking a look at the playoffs now, I have over here listed the seed and then by their finish. So the first seed finished in 8th, the second seed finished in 2nd. Kelsey, the 5 seed, won it all. The second seed got 2nd. So seed differential is just the absolute value. No, seed differential is just the difference between your seeded value going in and where you finished. So our number 1 seed ended up at -7 there. So the NSC for the playoffs this year was 1.227. So again, you remember what the NSC stands for, just above, a little over the NSC. That would be ideal. Still not any of our worst on track. I believe that still belongs to that belongs to 2016. Actually, no, 2014. Man, I'm bad at this. Yeah, where the 8, whatever. You guys can go back and look through all this too. And then we have the EAV, Ethes Anarchy value, and this is something I came up with, that reflection of the difference in results in comparison to the initial seeding. So the absolute value, this is the absolute value of the total seed difference normalized on a scale of 1 to 0. So if it were where 0, the bottom of the scale, was totally on our no anarchy. So that would have been the 1 seed 1, and the 2 seed got 2nd, and the 3rd seed got 3rd. And then 1 on the complete other side is just total anarchy, and just completely unpredictable, and the last shall be first. So EAV this year was 0.34, pretty much in the middle for the average EAV we've had. Our max is still 0.76, and our minimum is still 0.16 last year. So we went from an incredibly well-balanced year last year to a very much more unbalanced this year, though not nearly as bad as it has been. So yeah, that is the competitive balance for this year. I've gone over it a few times over the years, so I don't have to explain it too much, and all the data is here. All the data, is in this spreadsheet here, so you'll be able to find that uploaded on our Facebook page. So, deuces.